The 50th anniversary of hip hop is coming up. Hey, Slater here. The 50th anniversary of hip hop is coming up. We're now nearing the 50-day window, or we're already in it, depending on whenever this video is released. So if you haven't seen a lot of hip hop 50 content, you'll definitely start seeing it soon. But what does it mean when people say it's the 50th anniversary? How can a genre of music just be created out of thin air as if it's a tangible object? Let's talk about the history behind what happened on August 11th, 1973, the birth of hip hop. According to many sources and publications, linked below, the birth of hip hop took place at 1520 Sedgwick Avenue in the Bronx in New York City. Clive Campbell, aka DJ Kool Herc, was being a performer and entertainer at his sister Cindy Campbell's back to school party. And apparently he did this cool thing on the turntable. Let me explain in depth. Kool Herc drew inspiration from how Jamaican selectors, aka DJs, would toast or talk over certain records. There are numerous examples of this, but for a younger audience, I don't know, maybe think like Passion Fruit by Drake. A lot of people, younger people, seem to know that song. But he often emulated this style while he DJ'd. DJ Kool Herc would notice how crowds would go wild to a specific portion of a song he happened to be playing. It typically involved a drum break, where the vocals and other instruments would just completely drop out and you would experience pure rhythm. Now, what DJ Kool Herc would do would use two turntables and use two copies of the exact same song and go back and forth to smoothly transition. He would extend the instrumental beat by breaking or scratching to allow people more dance opportunities for a longer time, you know, like breakdancing. And he also began emceeing or rapping during the extended breakdancing portion. He called this the merry-go-round, but it later became known as the breakbeat.
One night, I'm waiting for the record to play out. I said, I wonder if I put that to myself. I said, if they're waiting for this particular break and I have a couple more records that's got the same breakup in it, I wonder how would it be if I put them all together. And I told them, I said, I'm going to try something new tonight. I'm gonna call it a merry-go-round.
Also, apologies if there's more modern or casual terminology to bring up in these instances. I'm not an experienced DJ whatsoever. I'm more so just a fan of the culture and the music, trying to do my best to give a history lesson. So I welcome all corrections in the comments if I am, giving improper information. I don't think I am. I did do my research before this, but you never know. So by the summer of 1973, DJ Kool Herc had been using and improving his style for almost a year at this point. But at his sister's party in August, this was the moment. His biggest crowd ever, and reportedly his most powerful sound system he's ever worked. It was the success of this moment that launched a grassroots musical revolution. A stylistic change in music that's gone on to become a cultural phenomenon to change the minds of many. When it comes to politics, art, race, language. Hip-hop is the most popular genre in the US and has been for a couple of years now, and the US consumes more music than any other market currently. I believe it goes back and forth with Japan and has been for the past 2 decades. And this whole DJ Kool Herc story happened 6 years before hip-hop even became a part of popular vocabulary. Speaking of that term, let's talk about the history of the phrase hip-hop and why that became the name of a genre or culture that so many people love today. You may recall that one of the earliest hits in the genre, Rapper's Delights, used the phrase hip-hop in the opening lines.
Here's Wonder Mike, Hank, and Master G, the Sugar Hill Gang.
The hip-hop, you don't stop. Rock it out, baby, rubber to the boogity bang bang, the boogie to the boogity beat. Now what you hear is not a test, I'm rapping to the beat. And me, the groove, and my friends are gonna try to move your feet.
And while yes, that was likely around the time that people started putting some of the words together, due to the hopping nature of some of the dances and the in the know part of the culture you had to be a part of, meaning it was hip, the first real moment came from Africa Bambata. In 1982, there was a story published called Africa Bambata's Hip Hop, where this guy broke things down for a downtown reporter, Stephen Hager. Bambata and the Zulu Nation group and the Black Spades would be playing with turntables, doing dances they called breakdancing, doing art they made with spray cans and markers, and just entertainment they made of stories and rhymes. Bambata became known as a figure of peace and unity in the area because of this, bringing people together for a good time all centered around music. When asked if there was a name for everything he was doing, he said hip-hop. He also described the 4 core elements: DJing, rapping, breaking, and graffiti writing. This explains why some people like to refer to hip-hop as the overall culture, while rapping is a very specific style of music, and they just consider rap one element of hip-hop. Also want to note that Bambata later said a 5th element, that being knowledge. So to view the landscape through a time capsule, it was all about bringing people together back in the day. And the most important thing was to keep the crowd engaged. Whether that meant opportunities for breakdancing, keeping people entranced with your rap style storytelling, whatever, just keep the vibes up any way you can. I appreciate you watching this full thing and I hope you learned something from it. Feel free to share with someone if so. If you think this video is good enough to receive a like, then be sure to give it a like. I want to hear your thoughts about everything I talked about, so be sure to leave a comment as well. It really helps with the algorithm. I'll be posting more content throughout the next few weeks as we get closer and closer to Hip Hop 50, so stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.